In this debate, the two women clash over accountability, modern dating, and the pressures placed on women today. Melanin Legacy argues that personal responsibility is being ignored, especially when it comes to relationship choices, standards, and outcomes. She believes growth starts with self-reflection and ownership. Terani pushes back, emphasizing social context, trauma, and systemic imbalance. She argues that focusing too heavily on accountability dismisses the lived experiences of women and overlooks the structural challenges that shape behavior.
Tyranny. Why do you believe that a is not always a hoe can be turned into a housewife? A man that is a hoe can become something that is not a hoe. Go ahead. You got the microphone first.
Because I believe in repentance. I believe that what you could have been yesterday doesn't require for you to be who you can be tomorrow. You know, everybody messes up. Nobody comes out the womb like, Buddha. Everybody messes up. And the beautiful thing of messing up is learning. You know, that's why we take our children to school, because they learn. If they made an F on their paper today, they can make an A on their paper tomorrow. If I had men wrong at the age of 17, doesn't mean I still got men wrong at the age of 30. So even if I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, or I was out of whose ever order that people are referring to, because some people don't even believe in the Bible, but they talk about order. You know, if people really go off of man or this world's order, there is no order, because this world allows you to have multiple people in your beds. This man allows, same-sex marriage. I believe in God's order. And if Mary Magdalene can get forgiven, why couldn't anybody else? So I don't believe in once a hoe, always a hoe.
Everybody's not Mary Magdalene, but women are born with their value. Men have to accumulate it over the things that they do. That's how they get their respect. That's how they earn their value. Okay, we're born with it, which would make us be the hoe to just sit up there and be fondling it away. The one thing that you're proving is just how much mothers are not telling their daughters the vital things that they should know in order to get them to the outcome that they want, which is one body and marriage. Men can be sexually undisciplined. Most of the time, they're sexually undisciplined based off not having guidance of their fathers. Okay? A man experiencing more than one woman, he's meant to be fruitful and multiply. It's really not something to debate. I don't understand why we want to be like them. Just because they can go out and spread their seed far and wide doesn't mean that we're supposed to. We run around with the universe within our womb. That automatically makes us have an obligation of a higher moral code about what we're doing, because we do bring forth life.
Now, Melanin Legacy is right, because you can't turn a promiscuous woman into a housewife, and that's not an insult, it's behavioral reality. People don't switch value systems on command. If someone has built their identity around freedom, attention, and sexual variety, expecting them to suddenly thrive in structure, exclusivity, restraint, and long-term sacrifice is wishful thinking. Marriage and family require discipline, delayed gratification, and stability, not impulses. Past behavior matters because it reflects habits, boundaries, and priorities. That applies to men and women. Now, the reason men and women are judged differently here is biological, not emotional. A man's value is not reduced by fertility or sexual access. His ability to be fruitful, provide, and lead can increase over time. A man spreading his seed does not limit his capacity to build later. Women, however, carry the reproductive burden and the consequences of selection. Pair bonding, trust, and family stability are directly affected by sexual history. That's evolutionary psychology. And if that makes you uncomfortable, that's fine. But discomfort doesn't refute facts. It just means reality clashes with ideology. You can argue morality. You can argue fairness, but you can't argue that women's promiscuous behavior don't have consequences, because every stable society in history says otherwise.
Right. We bring forth life. People mess up. You know, a lot of women end up feeling like they have no value because of talking points like, you a hoe if you was a hoe before, and you'll never be anything better. It's like constantly putting us down. And it's not having us realize the reason that we were created outside of more than just a vagina. You know, I see people saying tyranny was failed in life. Sure, my daddy wasn't there. But because God is so good, he allowed other male role models to guide and lead me. And I never seen men say that that woman ain't because she's had sex before. I've never seen that. I've never seen men not marry women because they have children outside of them. And it's usually a beautiful relationship.
No, it's not usually a beautiful relationship when a woman with kids marries a man with no kids. This is me just being honest about reality. A man with no children is stepping into instant responsibility, emotional labor, and long-term obligation for children he did not create, while having no prior experience of fatherhood. That alone creates a power imbalance and a lifestyle mismatch. The woman is already operating in parent mode 24/7. Her priorities are, and should be, her kids. But the man, having no children of his own, naturally expects a partner relationship first. That difference causes tension, resentment, and unmet expectations over time. On top of that, discipline, authority, and boundaries become complicated. He's expected to provide, protect, and sacrifice, but often without real authority in the household. He's told to step up like a father, while simultaneously being reminded that they're not your kids whenever conflict arises. That's not partnership, that's confusion. Now, can it work? Yes, in rare cases, with exceptional communication, maturity, aligned values, and clear boundaries. But pretending it's usually healthy or easy is misleading. Statistics, lived experience, and family court outcomes all show these relationships face higher stress, higher conflict, and higher breakup rates.
But if women stop thinking that we were created to be a foot mat, a floor mat for XY chromosome, then maybe, like you're saying, Melanin, we could be out there doing better. I could teach my daughter to be virtuous all the I want to. That doesn't mean she's going to go down that path. She's going to go down the path of how she feels that day. Your son is going to go. A lot of good fathers tell their sons, don't go being hoes, actually. A lot of good fathers tell their sons, say, man, it ain't good to go be sleeping with all these women. And if you go sleeping with all these women, you out of order. But according to what you're saying, it's in his order. So really, you're out of order for allowing men to think that they are nothing more than a dick and money.
No,
that's out of order.
I never said that's all they were. I said they don't hearken unto the voice of a woman. I say that a man should stay on his purpose. Period. You're never gonna lose. You're never gonna lose women chasing money, but you will miss out on money chasing women. Those are the type of things that I say in regards to men. So not sure.
Say that again. You're never gonna lose out on money chasing. Wait, say it again.
You're never gonna lose out on women chasing money. You're gonna lose out on money chasing women.
But you're gonna get the wrong woman. You're gonna get the wrong
whatever woman you want once you get to that point.
No, you don't. This is why some men are even in jail because they chase after the wrong woman.
Because they're not supposed to be chasing a woman. That's what I just said.
But you just said that it's in their order to desire more than one woman.
It is, but they have to reach a certain level of success in order for it to be successful.
Look, here's the truth. When a man prioritizes women before purpose, his focus, discipline, and growth suffer. Time, energy, and resources get spent trying to impress instead of building. That's how men stay average. But when a man chases excellence, skills, income, status, stability, women come naturally, not because of manipulation, but because success signals competence, security, and leadership. And here's the uncomfortable truth. A man needs to reach a certain level of success before a relationship can truly work. Love doesn't pay bills, attraction doesn't replace direction, and potential doesn't build families. Without financial stability, emotional control, and purpose, relationships collapse under pressure. This isn't materialism, it's reality. Every long-term relationship eventually runs into money, stress, and responsibility. Men who aren't prepared become resentful, insecure, or dependent. So, yes, men should chase purpose first and build value first, because women are a byproduct of success, not the starting point.
I don't give a damn if you're a billionaire. A lot of women ain't finna stay with you because you got money.
Oh, yes, they do.
A lot of women's not finna sit. Why do you think? Okay,
Kobe Bryant's wife. She don't leave. Most of these women with men with finances, they don't leave that man with finances. They know he's out there doing God knows what, and they don't go anywhere.
And they're so depressed. They're so depressed because he has no order, because he's out of order. because he thinking that he is God. He can do what the he wants to do.
He
So
can.
you coming home, you bringing your money, sure, thanks for the dollars. But what else are you bringing me? Heartbreak, pain, lying, deception. You're in the house with your
and pain and all this deception is because you within yourself doesn't understand the man's natural nature. It wouldn't be all this heartbreak and deception if you just understood.
It's true. Most men wouldn't feel the need to lie or deceive if women were honest about one thing. It is in a man's nature to want sexual variety. That doesn't mean men should cheat. It doesn't mean men lack self-control. It means desire and behavior are not the same thing. The problem is we punish honesty while rewarding silence. Men are taught very early that if they tell the full truth about male sexuality, they'll be shamed, rejected, or labeled immoral. So instead of having adult conversations, people pretend biology doesn't exist. Men are biologically wired to spread seed. Women are biologically wired to be selective. That tension has existed forever. Mature societies manage it with rules, boundaries, and honesty, not denial. Deception doesn't come from nature alone. It comes from unrealistic expectations and zero room for truth. If you want less lying, you don't erase male biology. You acknowledge it and build relationships on clarity, boundaries, and choice. Responsibility still matters. Discipline still matters. But honesty has to be allowed first. Ignoring reality doesn't create virtue. It creates secrecy.
And that's why y'all be getting cheated on, because y'all just don't understand. If you stay on what you're supposed to be on, this wouldn't even be a talking point. This wouldn't even be something you would have to even be worried about.
I don't have to worry about a man not knowing what a man wants, because it's been proven that I know what a man wants. Okay, I've had the results of a man being happy with me knowing what he wants. There's no children, the amount of children that I have will have a man saying, damn, Tierney could never make me happy. And maybe you too, Melanin, if you understood, it ain't about him all the time. It's about you doing you and him liking what he sees. But this so-called order is what is keeping women unhappy.
A woman doing her does not mean to go out there and be loose with your womb.
Completely agree.
A woman doing her is staying fit. A woman doing her is having a cookbook. A woman doing her is keeping a clean environment, keeping a fit body, being obedient. Stop talking when a man is talking. Know your place and your order. That's a woman being her. So all this other about this loose body stuff is ridiculous.
But order is individually.
No,
it is not every man's order to want the same type of woman.
I never said that. But to try to sit up there and make it sound like a man is not settling when you came with all this experience from different men dominating you is ridiculous.
And vice versa from the men. You have all these women, you got all these because like I said,
because women do not like men without experience.
Men don't want a woman with no experience, Melanin.
Yes, they do. They do not want you to come with all this experience and all these bodies. No, they don't.
If you want someone with no experience, then you are forever want to be a manipulator. You want to manipulate women. And this is what I was saying earlier with a lot of older men.
Men is being manipulated.
They want to manipulate women.
When men say they prefer younger women, people jump straight to manipulation. That's lazy thinking. It's not about control. It's about baggage. Less emotional trauma, fewer failed relationships, no ex-husbands, no custody battles, no hardened defenses from years of disappointment. That matters. Every experience shapes behavior. Repeated casual relationships often come with trust issues, comparison, emotional fatigue, and boundaries built for survival, not partnership. Men aren't stupid for wanting peace, cooperation, and optimism in a relationship. Preference is not predation. Men choosing younger women are optimizing for fertility, pair bonding, and long-term harmony. And here's the part people ignore. Women do the same thing, just in reverse. Women prefer men with experience because experience signals competence. A man who's lived, built, failed, and learned is calmer under pressure, better with decisions, and more capable of leading and providing. Nobody calls that manipulation. If a man wanted control, he'd choose insecurity. What most men actually want is less drama, less history, and fewer complications. So men want youth and less baggage. Women want experience and stability. That's not oppression. That's complementary biology and preference.
Because how about this? A man's natural order is to dominate, right? That's his natural order, is to be dominant.
No,
but if you're saying that I don't want a woman with no experience, she don't know what she talk about, she don't know what she doing, that's why I date younger women, it's because you want to be you're a narcissist, because you want to be a controller. I don't believe in that.
No, that's not true.
Yes,
It's
it
because,
absolutely
it's
is.
because
If you're,
y'all are mouthy.
yes, it is. If
It's
you're
because
telling, if a man come to my daughter and say, I like your daughter because she ain't got no experience,
he's
I'm
not
like, take your
supposed to
ass
be
out of
coming
here.
to you. Where the fuck is her father? He's
Her
not
father,
supposed to be
what
coming
the
to
father
you.
got to do with the
He's
man
not
having a
supposed to be
conversation with
coming
me?
to you. That's what I'm saying. You want to be too much in a man's role. He's
Hold
supposed
on,
to
baby
go.
girl. Hold on. Let me.
No,
You
he's
just
supposed to
said
go to her father and ask
he
for her,
can go
not
to the
you.
father too, but he's going to go to the mother too. What are
No,
you
he's
talking
not.
about?
The father comes to no, he's not. That's your. It's none of
Then
your
you don't
fucking
need no
business.
lips.
It's none of
Your lips should be
business.
shut
No,
closed
the fuck is
because
not.
there's no need for you to have a mouth. This is what if you believe that women should shut the fuck up, then why do you have lips? Why are you even talking?
No, women should stay out of men's business. If
What
you
does that have to do with a man's
time
business?
out, because if you haven't already taught her the thing that she's supposed to know before that man comes ask that father for the daughter's hand in marriage, you already failed.
Nobody
Your
knows
job-
everything.
You were supposed to do your job before we got to this point.
Okay,
Your job
so
is done by the time
we're at
somebody's coming and trying to ask for her hand in marriage. You done already that.
So, traditionally, a man goes to the father to ask for a daughter's hand in marriage, and there's a reason for that. The father is the authority and protector of the household. He's the one who assesses a man's character, stability, discipline, and ability to lead and provide. That conversation isn't romantic. It's accountability, man to man. That doesn't diminish the mother. It defines her role differently. The mother's responsibility was never negotiation with suitors. Her role was preparation. She was meant to teach her daughter how to be a wife, emotional regulation, cooperation, discernment, values, and how to build peace in a home. When those roles are reversed or blurred, confusion follows. Men don't know who to answer to. Women aren't properly prepared. And marriage becomes emotional instead of structured. This isn't about disrespecting modern women or erasing choice. It's about understanding that traditions weren't created randomly. They were designed to create stable families. You don't keep traditions because they're old. You keep them because they worked.
Man, you're no disrespect, but this is crazy. This is crazy conversation. And honestly, it's really sad that you feel like that a girl's supposed to know everything before she gets married. And a man already knows everything. This is what gets irritating. A man, because boy, like I told Fatty before, young boys cry more than young girls. They whine like they got no goddamn tomorrow. Shut your ass up. A young girl,
they
man.
have no emotional intelligence because they haven't been around the man to help them regulate their emotions. They're finding this shit because they was around their goddamn mama.
I'm not good with cutting you off because I will let you finish.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting this shit's getting a little crazy.
Me personally, just like I stated, I'm not finna. Okay, how about this? My daughter's brother ain't finna let no man come up in her life talking the way that you talking about how a man should treat his woman.
She's not in control of it. Do you hear what you're saying? And everything you say, you
ain't let that shit happen because my son understands how boys think.
You are the problem. I'm sorry, but you are the problem with society.
You're making it seem like
you're not even as important as you think you are by the time by the time that boy is 5 years old, he should be with his father more than his fucking mom anyway.
He should be with both of them.
No, but you're not you don't play, you play the back seat. You are not on the front end of it anymore. This is why it's taking
let's get to the microphone at a time. Let Melanie finish.
Okay, I'll let her finish.
Daddy, this is why our men are taking so long to develop. Because they with their moms too much. Because y'all think y'all too goddamn important.
Whose womb does it come out of?
Here.
Whose womb
emotional baby ass men because y'all have too much boy. Sit the fuck back. Sit back.
By around 10 to 12 years old, a boy should not be spending more time with his mother than his father. That's the transition period from childhood to manhood. At that stage, a boy needs masculine guidance, discipline, accountability, emotional control, risk management, and how to operate in the world as a man. This isn't an attack on mothers. Mothers are essential. But there are things a woman cannot teach a boy the same way a man can. You can't model manhood if you've never lived it. A father teaches a boy how to regulate aggression, face consequences, compete, take responsibility, and stand on his own. Without that influence, boys often grow up confused, overly emotional, passive, or disconnected from masculine identity. Raising boys and raising men are not the same task. At a certain age, nurturing must be balanced with structure, and that's where fathers are not optional. They are necessary.
So this makes no sense to me because you just said that a man is supposed to be out there working while a woman's supposed to be in the house cooking and cleaning and take care of the kids. So naturally, the baby is going to spend more time with the mother. That's natural.
Baby.
Older teenager. Hold on, man. Let me finish. Because people tend to think I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because you're good. Because I just wanna. I'm a Gemini, so I kind of talk backwards. But at the end of the day, kids are going to go to their mothers for advice because that's what Scripture tells them to do. Scripture actually says to children, follow your mother's instructions. So when you guys say to shut the up and don't listen to a woman, you're out of order. You're out of order. There's no reason that God created an entity for her to shut the up and do whatever he wants. That's what the goddamn animals was for. The animals was created to shut the up and do what Adam wanted to do. But the woman was created to be a crown on her husband's head. And crowns make people realize what you are. But without a crown, you're just a man. There's no successful relationship that has ever worked where the man did whatever the fuck he wanted to do and the woman sat back and didn't do and or say nothing. Now, when it comes to raising kids, 50-50. Even if I'm not
50-50. It's not. What 50-50?
Man, even if the father's not in the home, yes, the child is going to say what? I want my mommy.
Even if the dad is not in the home,
they want their mommy.
This is the problem that I have with single mother households. Because even if the father is not in the home, you should be running your household structure with those children based off of what he said he wants.
He ain't there.
But the house, and this is the problem. This is why y'all should be giving the kids to their fathers. Because you're supposed to be running that household based off of the structure of what he wants. This is his seed that he's trying to develop. And women are way too emotional to know what's best because y'all do it based off of your emotions and not logic. You're getting offended by the fact that I'm saying by the time the child is 5 years old, especially a boy, you take a back seat. You offended by that and think it's supposed to be equal. There's certain developments and things. There's things that he's supposed to learn how to do. Working on cars, taekwondo, karate, whatever. These are things that is emotional regulation. You cannot do that because you're emotional because you're a woman.
Then your beef is with the father that left, not the mother that's still there trying. And with a 5-year-old, 6-year-old,
right now,
with a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old boy that lives with his father, I promise you he's asking for his mother.
It doesn't matter what he's asking for.
Yes, it does matter what your child is asking for.
Households produce more successful children.
It matters what your child is asking for. And a lot of these men are growing up hard and don't have no goddamn heart because they wasn't raised with the nurturing of their mother. They wasn't raised with the nurturing of their mother.
Because you didn't make sure because women do not want to make sure that even if that man leaves you, he doesn't have to sacrifice his relationship with his child. Take your ass to court and ask the judge for joint custody.
I don't even believe in court.
Single parent households. Tough for any parent. But did you know that, statistically, children raised by single fathers tend to have slightly better outcomes in certain areas, experience fewer behavioral problems, slightly higher school performance, and lower rates of risky behavior? Fathers bring a unique kind of structure, discipline, and perspective that can help children navigate life's challenges. Their approach often encourages independence, resilience, and responsibility, qualities that set kids up for success. This isn't to say single mothers don't love or care for their children. They do tirelessly. But the statistics suggest that when it comes to certain outcomes, fathers have a measurable edge in raising children who thrive. The truth is clear. Dads make a difference, and their role in a child's life is powerful, transformative, and sometimes even life-changing.
I don't believe in court.
We're not talking about you. Stop saying I. In general.
You're talking about yourself too, because not a lot of people agree with your mentality.
Time out. Because if a lot of people are agreeing with my mentality, that means I'm talking in general because there's a lot of people agreeing with it.
I said don't, because where I'm from, nobody would agree with what you talk about. We're not talking about this internet space where people lie and say what they want to say to get some brownie points. We're talking about real life. But ain't no real woman that I know out here up in this mother.
I don't want to know the women that you know. I don't want to know the women that you know.
Thinking the way that you think. Not many women, not many wives, not many active mothers, not many business women think the way you think.
I don't give a fuck about the way a businesswoman is thinking.
You should.
And a businesswoman doesn't know how to go home. This is why businesswomen are the most single.
Yes, business is from 9 to 5, Monday through
Don't know how
Friday.
to turn business off and go home and be obedient and submissive and know her fucking place.
You can do that.
They
You can
don't
do
do
that.
that though. They don't do that.
You can do. There's plenty of business women that's been married for 20 plus years. You can go do your shit, come home and play your role as a mother and
One
a
thing
wife.
I noticed-
Y'all are sitting here saying that the son should be with the father, but you also
Sister.
said that the father should be at work. So who's watching the kids while the father is at work? So in the meantime, while the father's at work,
Why can't single
the mother.
fathers get it done?
But you
Why
want the
can't-
mother to shut
no,
the f- up?
single fathers get it done all the time. And even when he's at work, that child is at school. They have an after-school program. He can sign him up for a
So
bilingual
what's the
course.
point of a
He can
mother?
sign him up to go to piano classes. He can sign him up for a karate class. He can sign him up for football. You single mothers don't keep these boys in activities.
That's
You
not
keep
true,
them at
Melanie,
home
and you
with
know that.
on your goddamn titties.
It's most
You
women
keep
that
them
are
at home
keeping
with
their
you
kids
emotional.
in
You keep
football,
them at home with
basketball.
you telling him it's
Melanie,
okay for him to be crying.
man, you
And this is why
wrong.
we raise these emotional grown men that be sitting up here doing things to women because they don't have any emotional regulations because they've been up with their mama who probably saw their mama yelling and screaming in their daddy's face with no type of sense.
But the problem is,
boy, be quiet. Men don't handle shit like that.
this is
Boy,
contradicting
you know,
at
me and
its
you, me and you,
finest.
One uncomfortable truth people avoid is this. It's hard for a businesswoman or full-time working woman to turn off masculine energy in relationships. Success at work requires assertiveness, competition, and control, and that energy often clashes with the cooperation and softness relationships need. That realism matters elsewhere too. It's usually not a healthy dynamic when a woman with kids marries a man with no kids. He's expected to sacrifice and provide for children he didn't create, often without authority, while her priority will always be the kids. That imbalance breeds resentment. It can work, but rarely. You also can't magically turn a promiscuous woman into a housewife. Past behavior reflects habits and values. Marriage requires restraint and discipline, not impulse. Ignoring history is emotional thinking. Men and women are different by design. Men are wired for sexual variety. Women are wired to be selective. That doesn't excuse bad behavior, but denying biology creates dishonesty. Men lie because honesty about male nature is punished instead of discussed. Preferences follow the same logic. Men prefer younger women to avoid baggage. Fewer exes, less trauma, fewer complications. Women prefer experienced men because experience signals competence, stability, and leadership. Neither is manipulation. It's biology and self-interest. Money and purpose matter. A man will always lose money chasing women, but never lose women chasing purpose. Until a man reaches a certain level of success, relationships break under pressure. Love doesn't cover bills, stability does. Family structure matters too. Traditionally, a man goes to the father to ask for a daughter's hand. That's accountability, man to man. The father assesses whether the man is good enough to lead and provide. The mother's role was preparation, teaching her daughter how to be a wife, not negotiating marriage. And by 10 to 12, a boy should not be spending more time with his mother than his father. That's when boys learn discipline, accountability, and manhood. Mothers nurture, fathers shape men. This isn't hate or control. It's acknowledging patterns that existed because they worked. Ignore reality if you want, but it always sends the bill later.